workshop, and with that, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Cindy Holt.
Yes, we wanted to get with you this evening as it relates to, we have talked about this with you during the budget process, I think in particular at the budget presentation. And this is related to doing some major needed improvements to the Holt Park, formerly the North Gatlinburg Park. And so we are also, once you see this, we're also requesting, and in the package of budget page changes and information that was in a separate envelope in your packet, we are requesting an additional
$1,074,000.
to go toward this project that already has some money assigned to it, around 200 grand.
180 something.
Yeah. So, just to kind of set the stage from that standpoint, and then, to turn it over to Lawrence, who has been working with a, company, Michael Verson.
Correct.
And Associates. And so he's got the latest, greatest of what we think would be really a, very good project for improvements at that park. So with that, I'll turn it to you, Lawrence.
Thank you, Cindy. Thanks. I've been working with Cindy and Greg on coming up with what we think is the best solution. This is a highly visited park by a lot of tourists coming off the spur, come straight into this park. It's very busy, especially on the weekends, people picnicking along the riverbank and using the playground, as well as this is our largest group pavilion. So some of the issues we've had with this park is traffic coming in and it's very narrow, so we've looked at making this a one-way path all the way around. It's kind of, I would say 95% of people already do that. But you have the exception that go against the flow, and it creates some issues. Also, limited number of parking spaces, so we've tried to add as many as we can. Right here along the river, where the picnic area is, people right now parallel park in gravel, and it's just not very efficient, and it creates a little bit of an issue with children running between cars to the playground. So we've tried to address that. With better parking situation and a 4-foot fence so where we can control the access to where the children are running to. So it's a little bit of a safety. But backing up here, you're all familiar with the Bill Stevens pier. We're going to try to address some items in there as well. There's one little section that is no longer compliant by 2010 standards. It was obviously built prior to that. It shouldn't take a lot, but that last little section we need to just basically add a landing. We're going to try and address that and clean it up a little bit. The handrails need repainting and whatnot. Right in here, these 4 extra parking spaces are in front of the utility building. We have a fire hydrant right here that we're going to relocate to the other side. After talking with Chief Charlie Cole and Dale Phelps, we feel like we can do that relatively easily because the water line comes right here from under the bridge. That's going to free up this area to allow a few more parking spaces coming in. Then some of the, when we were looking at improving this last year, some of the things we were looking at is where do we prioritize? Because we were wanting to do some ADA compliance, and then we started noticing more and more issues. We have erosion along the riverbank. Some of these existing picnic tables, it drops off considerably right off the picnic pad. So we need to do some erosion control with riverbanks, and also where you see these where you see these suggested river access points, there actually is already kind of like a rambling river access there already. This is where people naturally steer to. And so we're talking about putting some segmental steps or down to the river there. And then along here is kind of a flat area, that would make a really good river path to be improved. This is the best fishing area, one of the best fishing areas in the park, according to our trout facility manager as well. And so this is really good. So for those who don't know, from this bridge here to the bypass bridge is designated as 12 and under fishing only, with the exception of the pier, which is for people with disabilities as well. So this is a really good area to improve. We get a lot of families and kids coming down here fishing. So you can see that this area we're looking to improve, put ADA compliant picnic tables, improve these picnic pads, and just shore up that bank with river rock, and then add these diagonal parking spaces. Greg and I are going to look more. It says gravel surface right here, but Greg and I are going to look into what we think the best surface would be. In the statement right now in our budget, we've got limestone gravel, but we think there's something else might be better. We're going to look at pea gravels and maybe even sod. But Greg and I are going to work on that, maybe changing that up. You can see the playground is basically being completely redone. The playground area. We have some erosion issues right here. This is going to give us ADA compliant access all around to the pavilion, to the bathrooms, which is sorely needed, and then still keeping a large open lawn area so we can still have just some natural area. We brought the fence in a few feet on these three sides right here, so that we can maybe add a little landscaping just to kind of hide the fence. There won't be any gates at the entrances, they'll be open. There's really just to make it a little safer and control the access points. Coming around to here, and included in our budget, in our overall budget, we do have restroom renovation improvements. And then this right here, this path right here is actually for a future educational. We've been doing more and more educational opportunities with the schools. Parks in the classrooms have asked us to do educational facilities sessions down here with our trout. It's a great opportunities for interacting with the public. So we're talking about making it obviously a safe access point right there.
The part around where it says open lawn and all that,
Yeah.
there, is that all going to be grass? Are we going to use any turf or is anything like that? Or
No, we're going to use sod.
Just sod.
It's a relatively flat area, so we don't have very many issues with erosion right here.
Yeah.
So we were just going to try and keep it natural.
Okay, keep it natural. I didn't know if you're going to do some other type of
You know,
material.
ball, frisbee, that kind of thing. Give it an area for people just to kick a ball around, throw a frisbee around, throw a blanket out. This right now, currently there's some trees, there's some cypress trees right in the middle. We need to remove those. They're causing some issues with growing up into the parking area.
Or as I see, you've got a shaded issue over the whole playground. That looks good.
Yeah, and so in this plan, Matt, it shows as a separate structure. To be honest, some of the ones we've looked at that I prefer are the integrated shade structures. So we're looking at getting it's in the budget to get a new playground. And what tends to work better is when they're actually integrated into the play structure.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably come back at some point when we get some firmer plans. I have a couple of ideas, but we need to contact a few more companies, and the integrated shade structures work a lot better. Less posts.
Good.
Got a couple quick things, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Plan looks overall really good. I think our signage is poor for this park at the entry. We have the standard, I don't know what I'd call it, Gatlinburg kind of wood sign that just kind of is a directional. And whereas at Mills and Minot, I think, Mills I know for sure we have a nice monument sign that actually directs people. It just looks better, right? This park I think is a little underutilized because I don't think people really know a lot of times it's there. But I think we should, and we don't have to do it in this particular reno, but we need to look at putting a nice sign at the entrance to this park.
We can do that now.
Yeah,
We
well,
need
that'd
to
be
do
great.
that now.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
We need to add that to what we're doing.
Yeah,
now.
because it's just kind of it's a tough one. People are excited to get into Gatlinburg, I totally understand it. And whatever happens with that development there at 1 will also impact that by something. The second thing I had was on the playground, the thing I have with playgrounds in general is they tend to not be fun anymore. We've managed to manufacture the fun out of playgrounds. And it's not the city of Gatlinburg, it's just, it's the new thing. We've made them so safe that they're no longer fun in a lot of places. And I just encourage us to kind of look a little bit outside the box on that and try to, 4-foot plastic slide's a lot different than when I was a kid. A lot safer, I get that. But, you know, maybe we could be a little bit more creative with our parks and make them fun for the children, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm saying on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
You know, Ryan's mentioned before, they have resources to work with the fishery
Yeah.
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that ought to be
Anything
utilized.
you guys need with the trout farm, we can help with. I mean, it's not an orange lobster, but, you know, but anything else you might need, you know, let me know.
We had some orange trout this year.
Well, we'll take them. I mean, that's what we provide homes, but
Yeah.
we'd love to help.
And actually, Ryan and I are gonna have an opportunity, I think, early September to look at the,
Marine Science Research Center.
Science Research Facility that they have done over in the Myrtle Beach
It's pretty
area.
spectacular. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a huge building, and it's what we're doing over there is
So I'm
pretty neat.
looking forward to
Yeah,
doing
you'll
that
see it.
and
It's gonna be
seeing,
nice.
seeing what that, how that might play into this. As to the picnic pavilion, we're proposing to do a few things there.
Yeah,
Dr. Lawrence?
so if you look at the budget sheet, the bottom of the first two pages, 852, 980, is everything you see on, is what we've estimated to be everything you see on this park plan. But page 3, you will see, we got pavilion, interior, and restroom renovations. There's 2 additional items, which gives us our grand total with a contingent, 10% contingency. And that is basically similar to what we've done at Minot Park, to repaint, recolor the flooring. The flooring has just been finished today, where they've sanded down, repaired the cracks, and recolored it. To make it look nice. There's actually less to do at this park because the building already is clad with rock, so it already looks pretty good, so we don't have to do the cladding like we do. And the restroom renovation, again, pretty similar to what we've done at Minot, which is tile partway up, stucco the rest, just to make them look a lot more modern, eliminate the block.
Lawrence, I'd like to mention, we had a neighborhood picnic up at Minot Park over this past weekend, and everybody was thrilled with the renovations of the park. And there were about 70 people that showed up, so it was a fun event.
Great.
Great.
Greg and I were up there Friday and ran into, I think Joe Lonick's wife kind of coordinated that.
Yeah.
And she was, couldn't be more, she was very complimentary, not just about what had happened up there, but about the staff as well. Yeah. So, and I don't even know that we told you that, so.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's
great.
great.
The great thing about the grills.
Yeah, the Ray Brookett grills. Yeah, Ray's doing a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing it done. This one has an inside grill, so we really don't have to, worry about building a grill here. Mine was the only one that didn't have one.
You know, I think it's surprising that's the largest pavilion of all the parks.
This one?
Yes.
I agree with that. I was shocked to hear that too.
I thought it would be Minot for sure.
I would too.
Yeah, we just don't have quite enough parking. One thing I didn't add, that maybe right here, we talked about, we proposed to add a tour van parking space because a lot of large groups will use the school groups. So they've never really had a place to park before, so we're proposing right here to give them a dedicated parking space as well.
Awesome.
So, and this is a heavily used park. I mean, as to the pavilion, I think the most used.
I wouldn't say the
Okay.
pavilion is the most rented. It's certainly whenever we get a large group, this is where we have
Where
to
they
steer
go.
them towards.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it's the picnic area. It's the picnic area, and the playground is, it's right by the river. And I think it's certainly, I would say, our most heavily used out-of-town park. For people out of town.
Cindy, we could get Chad to give us the Datafy numbers on all 3 parks, just to let us know the usage by cell phone in those parks. It'd be cool to see. I don't know if we could, do any, but he's got the data. It's just a matter of them aggregating it, right? It won't
Yeah, I'd love
cost
to
us
see that,
anything,
Looks very good.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
good, Lawrence. As long as we
So,
clean it up.
Lawrence, do we have, time schedule? Did you get a chance to talk to Mr.
Yes.
Burson?
So if approved, the drawings could actually be done within 2 to 3 weeks, the construction drawings.
Really?
He said he could get
Wow.
those to us in 2 to 3
We need to
weeks.
use him on
Um,
our projects.
Yeah, we would have some other bid documents to
wedding building.
accumulate as well, the pavilion and the restrooms, but we have kind of specs for those based on what we've done at Minot already, you know, now we've done one, you know, we can duplicate what we've done. So, I could say, we're already in the middle of August, I'm thinking, certainly by the end of October, we should be able to go to bid. And I would propose that we try to do this as best we can. Obviously, construction during the winter months is not ideal for weather, but I would prefer to sacrifice a little longer construction time for doing it during the quieter months.
Agreed.
It's not been longer
Say
construction
that
time than the
part
last
again.
pass has it? It's right on time.
Interpret that.
He just said, we need to take it
Work on
longer
it over the
to
winter.
Do it over the winter.
You would have to give, you know, instead of 120 days, you give 180 days, but it would be, you'd have to give the team longer to do the work.
I
but-
got you, because of the winter.
Yeah, because of the
Yeah.
weather delays. It would seem prudent to do that and then try to get it done by May, April.
It's a very aggressive schedule.
I didn't say we should.
This is being recorded,
Yeah.
so we got him on the
I
record.
didn't say we
My
should.
county commissioner.
Just like the rest of the recreation department, all the other projects are right on time, right?
Yeah, yeah. You did hear him say, he didn't say what year. Did you hear that disclaimer?
Before May.
So the walking trail, is that abandoned or?
So the walking trail, right now, it's very dangerous up there with the amount of dead trees. I would recommend that we hold off and make that a kind of a phase two. It's out of the way of the rest of the park. You know, right after 2016, we cut any trees that could fall into the park, but there's still a lot of trees.
So how's it blocked off? I mean, is it yellow caution tape? Do we have it
Yes,
just?
that's
Trees falling across the road and the
What, I'm
walkway.
sorry, what is?
I asked the same question.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks good, right? Like, we don't want yellow caution tape. We need
Yeah,
to
how do we have it
officially
blocked
close
off?
that
Do
off.
we
So right
try-
now it is blocked off right about here, so it's kind of out of sight. You can still walk up the trail safely here, and there's a bench overlooking the river. You can get up that far, but once you get up that far, you'll see
I
around
see.
the corner and it's blocked
the
off.
opposite side.
The other side is blocked off here, so you're kind of already, actually it's blocked off right about where he's proposing doing this overlook area. There's still a bench there, and then it's blocked off probably right there. And so as you're approaching the bathrooms, if you look on down the path, you'll see basically a wooden barricade. It's not
It's-
ugly, it's obvious.
It's really, it's grown up and the pavement and the concrete up there's all broken up anyway. They don't look good. But I
So it
mean,
needs a total overhaul.
It does, but the thing is, what you're saying is when you're down at the park, when you look up to it, you really can't see it because it's so much higher and it's behind it. So is it really necessary to do? It don't look good, but we also know it's there. Others probably don't even pay that
Yeah.
much attention to it.
Would that be worth doing down the road though, to rehab it?
Yeah, maybe. I think, yeah, we should look at several options down the road. One of the best parts about it is this overlook looking over across the river, so, but I think we need to wait and see what happens.
Another
Yeah.
picnic table maybe?
We got a lot of land up there.
Another picnic table possibly?
Yeah.
Well, there's and we, I think it's okay to say this in here. There's another parcel that we talked about the other day that adjoins, that it would be, I mean, if we could get that would really
Enhance it.
open,
Make
yeah.
it-
Yeah.
You put another Ripley coaster over there on that hill.
This is commissioner this year.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would build a beautiful welcome center. That's what I'm saying.
Anything else?
Very good.
That's good.
So, did I say this part already about this is your packet?
Yes.
And Robert goes over, I guess we could quickly do this, that, there's really only two things that happen in this, is the numbers, right, Robert? This being the Holt Park and the additional $1,074,535. To get to that number that's on that big spreadsheet, $1,200,000 or some such. Then, Robert, let's take this opportunity to share about the surpluses that are at the final reading of the budget is when we do surplus appropriation to the CVB, okay? We started, 2 or 3 years ago where we did that mid-year, and so, but now this is to, send to them the dedicated sources of revenue that go to them that therefore reflect January through June, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Surplus. So these amounts are pretty impressive.
What is the surplus amount? What is it?
Yeah.
Well, the surplus total is about 1.6 million. It's a little bit less than last year, but pretty close to that. And then the other, so that's the two, like the convention center related surplus is 516,038. Tourism down there, you see that is 1.129, 480, is the surplus that's related to tourism advertising. Then we have in the middle one down there in the 414 fund, that's some additional proposed equipment
Yeah.
for expenditures that's related to the convention center, dividing walls, audiovisual equipment, stuff that we felt like needed to be placed in this budget.
What was the total amount we gave last year compared to this year when we had these numbers January through June? Compared to apples to apples, the total.
It was about $200,000 less this year than it was last year.
What's our total number this year when you add everything together?
You know, I don't have, the total number will be, it will be, let's see here. Put that in here. I can give it to you. It's on page, let's see.
No, 1.6.
It'll be on page 141. So the total amount will be, the tourism advertising, it will be 9.19 million.
That's what we're doing this year.
That's what we're doing this year. Now, and the
Still
last-
a lot of money.
Yeah, it
So
is.
when will they have cash in hand? September?
After the budget becomes official, we'll do a memo to them from Cindy to the CVB and request if they want it all in a lump sum or if they want us to keep it and give it to them ratably. Most of the time, I think all the time, they just request to go ahead and get it.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be
1.6
by mid-September.
9.1 million.
It's impressive.
Pretty dang good for
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Is there any way for us to, well, he's getting ready to walk out of the room.
I'll be right back. I got an emergency.
Okay. Those of us who maybe can remember, that $9.1 million number has probably increased how much over the last 3 years?
4 million.
At least.
Yeah.
It was $5 million what I retained when I first
Yeah,
started.
it's doubled in
4
the
years
last 7 or 8 years.
I
Yeah.
remember when we were fighting to get a $500,000
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
serious.
done very good.
Yeah,
back in the Randy Five Ash days.
yeah. I mean, it really has
But look, we've
grown
opened new
a lot.
markets. You know,
And-
Washington DC was up 253%. That's an expensive market to advertise in, so they need that money if they really wanna penetrate.
Expand it, yeah.
You know,
No,
so
you gotta
it's
keep
not,
keeping on.
that and Atlanta are not cheap.
I was shocked to see that Washington DC was a lot of our marketing, and Chicago was a lot of people traveling here. That was in our
DC's
Chattanooga
jumped into our top 10. It was
Yeah.
only in our top 50 at one
and
point.
Chicago. Both.
Pretty impressive.
Okay, so I think that
We're
is
good.
what we
That's
needed to
good.
review with you during the workshop.
Sounds
Thank you.
good. Good job.
Good job, Warren.
Good,
That's good.
yeah.